Okay, let's talk about how to manage your anxiety as an HSP. HSPs are more likely to feel this stress response as fight or flight than the average person. So, what do you do when this happens? Okay, so if something is triggering me and I'm starting to feel sort of rattled all of a sudden, there are any number of things that I can do. It's really good to have different tools in your toolbox for removing and releasing some of this stress and anxiety. Simple things like taking a walk, getting up from your desk. If you're at your computer and you get an email from your boss and it just sort of like hits you like this, do not keep on working. Don't try to just like push it aside and white knuckle it. Like, you have to move your body. This is one of the most important keys to managing your anxiety. Is the anxiety is felt in our bodies. It starts as a stress response in our brain, in our nervous system, and then it filters out to the muscles, and we get tense and our breathing gets shallow. So the way we can reverse engineer this is to do things to remove this experience from the body by moving around, by taking some deep breaths. Physical activity is great. Breath work is great. Anything that gets us into this deeper breathing state. So if I go surfing, for example, and I'm stressed and I paddle for a couple big waves and the adrenaline's flowing and my heart's pumping and I'm taking big breaths like this, after a few minutes, the stress response system starts to deactivate and we start to feel the benefits of that. I can't remember if it's the parasympathetic or the sympathetic, but it doesn't matter. You're going to get that de-stressing response that feels good. So get up from your desk, take a walk, take your mind off of the stressor, put your earbuds in, listen to music, like whatever you can do to just move the energy, and not just in your body but also in your mind. So stress and anxiety, yes, it does filter out into the body, but it starts in the mind. And this is where we have to be careful because it can start as like a triggering experience from an email, but then it can perpetuate itself from the thinking about it. This is why you don't stay at your desk and you go, oh my God, why is he, mad at me? I sent him the documents that he asked for. Like, am I going to lose my job? Because other people blah, 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 lost their jobs. You want to deactivate the story. An email is an email. It doesn't mean you're going to lose your job. Disaster is not likely in 99% of these scenarios. It is unlikely. But our brains don't know that. Our brains think, oh my God, disaster is likely, therefore we need to gear up for fight or flight because we're in danger. Now, instead of letting that happen in your mind, again, disengage, talk to a friend. And here's the thing, sometimes it's useful to talk to a friend or a counselor about the fear, the anxiety, the thing that is stressing you out a little bit. And sometimes it's not. So I want you to pay attention to these moments where you feel like it would be helpful to unpack this thing. Like, hey, I just got this email from my boss, and we just had layoffs, and I'm worried that I might lose my job. What do you think about this? So, if it's a really good friend or a good counselor, they can help calm you down and say, hey, listen, don't worry about it. Remember, 99% of the time, these things never happen. So just relax. I'm sure it'll blow over. If you're lucky, you might have an experience like this. If you're unlucky, you might end up talking to someone else who's also feeling anxious or stressed out, or maybe they just have a negative state of mind about things, and they could feed your anxiety and they could go, oh my God, didn't your company just have layoffs? I mean, I think maybe you could lose your job. So obviously, this kind of a conversation about the stressor anxiety can make it way worse. So sometimes it's good to play it safe. If you don't really know how this person is going to respond, talk about the news, talk about the weather, talk about the sports. Just take your mind off of the thing. Like most of the time, just taking your mind off of the stressful situation is enough for you to just forget about it. I might go for a surf after having an experience like this, and maybe the waves are really small. I'm not getting that adrenaline heavy breathing sort of experience, but I'm talking with some friends out there. I'm enjoying the sunset, and then I get out of the water and I go, wait, what was I worried about again? Oh yeah, that's right. No, I think it's gonna be fine. So those are the two things, guys, to work on when you want to manage your anxiety, is to move the body, get the blood pumping, deep breathing. Breath work is great as well. If you've never tried breath work before, Google it, sign up for a workshop. It is a game changer. This is another tool to have in your arsenal. Okay, I actually did a breathwork ceremony 2 nights ago with my men's group, and it was powerful. All 6 of us there were having intense weeks. We were all struggling with emotions and anxiety, and like all sorts of stuff was just sort of like bottled up in our emotional bodies. Some of us were feeling tense. So we did 20 minutes of breath work, and you can do this on your own. You can have it be led by an instructor in person. You can do online workshops where they do this, and they're just going to lead you through 20 minutes or more of deep breathing patterns. There's different styles, but the idea is that you're hyperoxygenating your blood. Like that's an example. And you just do that while listening to music that's going to get you into this state of mind of just sort of clearing the negative energy in your system. And it is a game changer with breath work. So breath work, definitely check that out, because once done properly, you're going to feel this response in your body where you might feel some tightness, some tingling. You might even get some like mental images related to emotional processing. There could be some emotional releases. If you're lucky, you'll shed some tears, and maybe even, sometimes in breathwork you can scream out loud. Get the freaking energy out there. Like, guys, emotional releases are the best when it comes to clearing the system. But regardless, after a good breathwork session, you feel so relaxed. My friend who was leading the ceremony was, he was having a pretty tough week, and I could hear it in his voice. After the breathwork session, he was like night and day. He just sounded like a totally different person, just so grounded, so calm, so peaceful. So, breath work. If you haven't tried it yet, check it out. As an HSP, it can save your life. Another hack is ice plunges or cold plunges. If you've ever heard of this guy, Wim Hof, you've heard of this technique before. So this is more like advanced stuff that requires equipment, expertise, etc. But after you've done the basic stuff and you want to try something that's got a little bit more kick to it, that's when you start to look at modalities like breathwork and cold plunges. The idea with the cold plunge is that For some reason, when you submerge your body in very cold water, I'm talking 45 degrees and under. I did a plunge recently that was 29 degrees. Fortunately, there were no icicles in there, but it was cold. But here's what happens. So you're in this tub for 2+ minutes, and it forces your mind into the present moment because of the pain and the cold, which it goes away after about a minute, minute and a half. You stop feeling cold, and if so, it focuses your mind. You can't have this like crazy monkey mind sort of a thing. And the cold temperature, it literally cools down your entire system, your nervous system. All this activity that's going on in your neurons are firing like crazy. Your heart could be going like this, could be feeling tense in the muscles. The cold, it just sort of deactivates all of that, and it gives you a reset. I can't tell you exactly why, but it just does. Because when you get out of that cold plunge and you warm yourself back up and you get on with your day, again, it's just like after the breath work, you're just like, oh, that was nice. So, this stuff, it does require this level of courage. It's kind of like this warrior mentality that you want to bring to your stress management approach. Stress is kind of a big deal, and it's not something that you can eliminate by just doing like the easiest things. That isn't to say that you have to do these more intense things. I'm just saying that to truly master it, there are different levels and ways to really get a handle on these things, which do require effort, energy, a little bit of money, and that warrior mentality where when you drop into that cold plunge, you're like, oh my God, am I actually going to do this? That the board just said 29 degrees. All right, I'm going. This was me like 3 weeks ago. I have my watch. I'm like, okay, I was just in the other tub for 5 minutes. I'm going to do at least 1 minute in this thing. And I'm in there and I'm like, oh my God. But here's the thing. It's worth it. It's worth it. If you're like me, you spend maybe your entire life feeling this anxiety and this stress and this agony, and it is agony. It doesn't have to be that way. Yes, it does require us to go to these measures. And yes, it does kind of suck that we even have to do it. But that's okay. I mean, stress is a part of everyone's life. Anxiety is a part of everyone's life. Very few people get to live this calm, peaceful, relaxed, contented existence because they don't know how to manage it. You have this chance to get ahead of it and master your life. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today about how to manage your anxiety as an HSP. Move your body, talk it out, or just distract yourself about talking about something else or distracting yourself in another way. Breath work, cold plunge. Amongst anything else you can figure out on your own, there's lots and lots of different other ways to manage your anxiety. This is just a good start for you, let's say. Now, if you like this video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and if you are feeling stuck in your career, you would like to discover your purpose or change your career, visit adamhardt.com to learn about my career coaching services and sign up for my weekly newsletter. It's free, and you'll get weekly tips delivered to your inbox on how to thrive in your career and how to approach a career change. So check it out, and thank you for watching.